Fields, near side, it's caught. Touchdown! Pat Fryermuth taking contact, and the Steelers inch a little bit closer.
Yeah, we just mixed it up a little bit on first and second down. Their defense was doing a good job in their run on first down, so we started mixing in a little bit more pass, play extra pass, and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that was it, just mixing up a little bit and kind of catching a rhythm like that.
Patty Fry with the touchdown. Justin Fields, statistically, what a game. Haven't seen anything like this ever, actually, from a Steelers quarterback. It's never happened before in the team's history where a quarterback throws for over 300 and rushes for over 50. So Fields, 10 carries, 55 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground. He had 1 touchdown through the air, so he accounted for 3 touchdowns, did have the fumble, did take 4 sacks. The offensive line didn't exactly bathe itself in glory. I also thought that the fumble he had was, well, a lot of that was on the line. I think a lot of that also on Fields. You can never take a 22-yard sack.
No.
And you can't fumble the football. But I think if you are somebody who wanted Russell Wilson, you can point to the first 2.5 quarters and you go, okay, give it to Russ. I'm not like that. I think Justin Fields is the reason why the Steelers had a chance to win this game at the end, Dorin. And the answer is easy for me to this question at 412-928-9370. If Russ Wilson is healthy, who do you go with against the Cowboys? I'm going with Fields, and I don't lose a second of sleep about it, Dorin.
And you know what you've been calling for? It's like, you don't want to see this, but let's see whenever he does have to come from behind and see what he's made of. And we got to see that yesterday. I mean, there were some questions to be answered, even though that they did lose. Some questions that were answered yesterday, especially surrounding Justin Fields, like, can he bring them back? Can he revitalize them, bring them back to life if need be? And I think that even though they lost the game, they got within 3 points because of him. And I don't know if it's necessarily that Arthur Smith opened it up and let him be Justin Fields, or Justin Fields played within the offense but still showed that melding that we were talking about. Like, hey, these are my characteristics. Let me meld that with what the offensive structure is, and let's get this thing going. So I'm with you. Like, I think that he should start the next game if Russell Wilson is healthy. I think he earned that within the last, bringing the team back and giving them a fighting chance.
I'm with you, and think about who he's throwing to, with all due respect. So George Pickens, 11 targets, 7 catches. Fryermuth, 7 targets, 5 catches. Other than that, you're throwing the ball, God bless him, to Darnell Washington, Van Jefferson. Cordero Patterson had a couple of catches before he tapped out of the game with injury. Calvin Austin had a catch. 4 targets to wide receivers not named George Pickens. So they put up 24 points. They score touchdowns on 3 consecutive drives, and I think it was mostly him.
Yep.
That bomb to Pickens down the sideline, he drops that thing right in the bucket. The legs, we finally saw some spectacular out of Justin Fields. 2 rushing touchdowns. I'm not happy they lost the game, but like you said, it's not the worst thing in the world to really be up against it and have to say, Justin, go out there and try to take this football game over, because I thought that he did, and maybe it's his fault with the snap. He said it was his fault with the snap. We dissected it earlier. Seems like there were 3 guys to blame on that. If the snap doesn't happen, I have faith that Justin Fields is going down and they're at least lining up for a game-tying field goal.
Yes.
He has earned that trust from me now, that I believe he can get it done in the big moments. End of the game last week against the Chargers. That thing was tight. It's tied 10-10. He throws an interception. He's cool, calm, collected. He's not shaking like a leaf. He's cool as a cucumber. And he leads 2 consecutive scoring drives, and then they're able to milk the clock for the final 4 minutes and 59 seconds. So at nut-cutting time against the Chargers, he was at his best. And I think he was at his best late in this game. Final drive, it was tough. It was a comedy of errors, not all on him. You had to take some responsibility for your Fields, and he did. But I saw a lot from Fields that I was waiting to see. Now, we did see some Chicago Bears-like moments from Fields.
Couple.
But don't you think that the good far outweighed the bad?
I just think the precision with the football most of the time was just it's something that you question whenever you did sign Justin Fields. But whenever he's, I mean, even the the touchdown pass to Freiermuth, like that was zipped in there in the perfect spot on the outside shoulder where whenever you're a receiver or you're a tight end and the quarterback throws to a shoulder, you know that there's nobody outside that shoulder where you turn up. Normal quarterbacks just throw it right to your chest. It's like, all right, let me get the ball too. He threw that precisely to the outside shoulder, so Freiermuth knew that he could turn that way and would score a touchdown. Those things, like, I was very impressed. And you talk about the throw to Pickens down the sideline. Most of his throws were precise, and he knew where he was going with the football. That's why I'm like, okay, like that was one of my biggest question marks. Like, is he just throwing the ball to make a play, or does he know where he's going with the football, and is it going to be precise? He showed me that at least yesterday most of the time. Some of the things that you talked about that he looked like old Justin Fields with the fumble was really the one thing that stuck out to me.
Took a couple sacks where I was yelling, get rid of the ball, which is his. I mean, that's a thing that he has struggled with in his career, and it reared its head in this game. But they lost because of the defense.
Yeah,
the defense gives up 27 points to a quarterback with a 49% completion percentage, knock him out, and then a 39-year-old comes in and dices you up. That's why they took the L, and it ain't Justin Fields' fault that George Pickens decided to go all Chris Paul and throw a backwards pass behind his back. That was one of the stranger fumbles I've ever seen, Dorin, where he's on the sideline and whoop, here you go. Yep. Take that thing. I didn't even react when I'm watching it on TV because I just thought he fumbled it out of bounds based on the angle.
Yeah, I was hoping that his foot was out of bounds.
Yeah.
And, like, that's what happened, but it wasn't. He tried to stay in bounds. He needs to tuck that away.
He needs to tuck it away. Justin Fields showed that he can lead this team to points. And yeah, there were some mistakes. He made fewer mistakes than the highest paid defense in the NFL. George Pickens, also a number one wide receiver who, on the whole, had a good game. That fumble can't happen. Fields can't fumble the one where he takes the 22-yard sack, but there's two free rushers. The second he catches the ball, he's running for his life, and he's trying to make a play. And maybe if the game isn't up in the air, in that you're trying to bring him back, maybe he doesn't try to make that play. And maybe he just falls on it if the game is 10-10 or 14-14, whatever it is. He's trying to make plays because he knows you only got so many plays to bring your team back. On the whole, I thought it was a mostly really good game for Justin Fields. And he showed stuff that we hadn't seen him show before. What do you think? 412-928-9370. You can text us, brought to you by Edgar Snyder and Associates, a personal injury law firm where they always say there's never a fee unless we get money for you. You can tweet us, brought to you by South Hills Kia in Peters Township. Visit them at southhillskia.net. It's that even keel, man.
Yep.
He had it in the Chargers game when it's tight. He had it in he looked so comfortable bringing the team back. And it obviously didn't go according to plan. The Steelers don't want to have to throw it 34 times, drop them back 38 times. They don't want to do that. That's not according to the way that they script these games. Like if it's Hollywood and they want to write the script, it's we're going to run the ball, we're going to play defense, we're going to control the clock, blah, blah, blah. Didn't go that way. Fields gave them a shot in the end.
If they come back and win that game, what are we saying today? Like, what are people saying today? We know where we stand. We stand like, okay, Justin Fields played good. Do you think people will say, oh, Justin Fields deserves another start? Justin Fields played really good. Like, is that the deciding factor? Is that he didn't get them to win, or like because there are a decent amount of people out there that don't think that he played well,
right?
Which is mind-boggling.
Yeah, I mean, I threw the Twitter poll out there, and early returns so far on the response. But I wrote, if Russell Wilson's healthy, which Steelers quarterback should start against the Cowboys? 18% of people are saying Russell Wilson. I mean, that seems like a pretty big chunk for a guy who went 350.
Yeah.
350 plus total yards and 3 touchdowns. I wonder how the results would look if they won ugly. Justin Fields didn't play well and the defense won the game. So if you win the game, but Justin didn't play well, I actually think that the silver lining of the way Justin Fields played, I feel so good about that. It outweighs how bad I feel in general about the loss.
Same here.
Yeah.
Same here, because you got some answers.
So you lose the game, but did you find your quarterback? He made a couple of mistakes.
I mean, it's football. It's going to happen. Like, so mistakes are going to happen. Like, people expect these quarterbacks to play, like, flawlessly every single game. It's just not going to happen.
It doesn't happen.
Things are happening fast out there.
We saw last week Josh Allen be by far the best football player who took the field in the entire NFL all weekend. And this week, not so much. Not so much. Aaron Rodgers played like donkey doo-doo in his game and then blamed the weather after the game. Quarterbacks are going to make mistakes. You're going to have bad games. I don't think Justin Fields has had a bad game yet as Steelers quarterback. And it wasn't just statistically that he played well in this one. People say, I heard Caboli talking about this, or I read Caboli write about this. Well, defense gives up a touchdown right away, and the Steelers come out and they have to punt on the first drive. Well, or I guess the second drive. They had the four downs. They went for it, and then they failed. That's not on Justin Fields. That they call a Justin Fields run, but you have a tight end whiff on a block and blow the whole thing up. I can't put that kind of stuff on Justin Fields. And after the fumble, so just like last week, interception and then scoring drive, run the clock out. This week, horrendous fumble, touchdown.
Response.
Yes, and I'm not. He's definitely the franchise quarterback. But that was franchise quarterback-like. Oh, man, I made a bad play. That's on me. And he took responsibility for that after the game, too. And then touchdown. That's balls right there. You tweeted it out during the game. One thing we know about Justin Fields, he's got balls.